nice and tidy edited down video, but I have ways for you to make it faster. You can click that little gear on the YouTube settings right there on the video and adjust the playback speed, make me sound like a chipmunk, and it'll go a lot faster. You can also look and see if there's timestamps for this project in the description, and if you're on a desktop, you can hover over the time bar at the bottom of the screen and see if it's chunked up into chapters, and then that way you can go directly to the step you're looking for. And lastly, you can also tap on the screen on the right hand side of the video picture or on the left hand side to make the video jump ahead, forward or backward if you're on a mobile device. And you can adjust that amount in your settings so you can have complete control over how much it jumps. So if you are on a desktop, you can use the fast forward or the rewind, and that will make it go faster as well. You can also enable subtitles, and the little CC on the screen will enable closed captioning. That way, if I am a little bit harder to understand with that double playback speed, the subtitles might help you out. All right, well, I know that it's not a nice little edited video, but if you sew with me, we'll get there together and it'll be lots of fun. And now for the live stream. Happy sewing! Hello! Happy Saturday, as Ray says. How are you? Oh yeah, Rebecca. Party, party, party. Hi, Mullen. A seam ripper is my favorite tool. I don't have any problems saying that. Hey, Margaret. Hi, Shem. Hey, Rebecca. Elena, Delwyn, Lisa, Louise. Nice to see you all. This is not what I'm sewing today, but I did start this camp shirt yesterday because I recorded a how-to video. Look at how nice this came out. I have a little trick I'm going to show you. I did a Hong Kong finish on my facing, but see right here, this juncture? I got you. Hopefully it'll be up today. I forgot to take my hard drive home yesterday to edit it, but it was also like 6 o'clock, so I don't really want to work at night. I try not to do that. But I'm going to try and edit it here at work and post it today, so we'll see. I can't post it from home. My internet is not that good. It's not really a seersucker. It's actually woven. You can see the little texture. You see it? I left the light off today. I feel like it's going to work better with the eyelet. So I know it's a little shadowy, but we can adjust things. I got this from Hearts Fabric years ago, and I got it for something else, and then I decided I didn't want it for that. I thought it would be kind of not good for it. So I'm making this little, I'm just making a camp shirt for Michael again because I needed a fabric good for the video. So all I have to do is the underarm and the hem. Yeah, it is an interesting fabric, isn't it? Look at how bad my flat felled seam is. It's the worst fabric for that, and I didn't have enough seam allowance. So I hadn't do this underarm yet. I'm like, oh, I need some touch up. It was hard. This sleeve always throws me off too because it actually has some ease in it when I don't expect it to. And then I'm like, why am I flat felling this? There's ease. So yeah, you need that color. Yeah, yeah. Plus, I'll be sewing the tropical shirt. This shirt right here. I want to say it's June 21st. I can just look at a calendar. Let's see. Oh, that's notification. Where's the calendar? When you click the time, it doesn't show the calendar anymore. What kind of nonsense is that? Okay, here we go. Yeah, so on the 21st, I'm cutting it, sewing it on the 22nd all the way through. So, and it's a different fabric than this. It's really cute. Some of you saw it. It's got these little like camper vans on. He picked it out. All kinds of new shirts for Michael lately. Someone's got to, you know, bear the burden, living with a sewer. Okay, so I'm going to sew a sample of my collar construction before I do my real shirt here. So I have this, stop that. I have these pieces cut out because one of the things that I'm puzzling on is the collar coming to the middle of my placket right here and how to finish that. Since I don't have a facing. If I have a facing, it would be no problem, but I don't. And I also cut a piece of binding as a backup solution to do that. So yeah, sometimes you just gotta rip. Yeah, it looks okay. Parts of it look better than others. I just need to take some of the ease out of that sleeve so I don't have to do that. He doesn't need it, so, and it's a drop shoulder, so it doesn't really need it, you know. Okay, so so I'm sorry I'm gonna sew this little sample, but maybe you'll enjoy some of the puzzling out I need to do, because I've been doing so many things like this lately, like camp collars. I have this big series I've been working on, and I'm honestly, and then I also just did this job, like a sewing job, like not a job, but a video job. I want to make sure I'm thinking about this correctly because I'm missing all these details. So how would I remove the ease? That's in the sleeve SBS? No. I would just slash down the middle of the sleeve and overlap it. Do you want me to zoom out? I have it zoomed in because, so let's look at how the eyelet looks on the camera, by the way. So this is the eyelet. So I'm thinking, because see, otherwise I have the light on and I can make this darker, but I feel like we're gonna be in the same boat. So let's leave it like this for now, but we'll zoom out a little bit. Oh, Shem, I'm glad you're here actually, because you asked the other day about if you can do the under collar on the bias like you do for coats. So two things, that's not unique to coats, that's common throughout a lot of shirt making. But if you do put your under collar on the bias, make sure there's a center back seam because you need some sort of stability. You don't really want a really long piece on the bias. You can do that, that's fine, but I don't think that it's going to pull the collar symmetrically under, like wrap it under. It's going to do it asymmetrically. So if you put your collar on the bias, on the under collar, and you have that seam, then you'll have kind of an equal pulling situation going on. Did someone say Derek's here? Derek! We see a lot of Derek this time of year. We're ramping up to our menswear sewing month, right? How are you doing, Derek? Nice to see you. I know you like the menswear sewing. I think that's where I first discovered you, is in July one year. Yeah, exactly, Terry. Yeah. So I was just, because he was asking, Shem was asking about, can you just put the under collar on the bias? And you can, but the one I was drafting, it doesn't have a center back seam. So make sure you just slice it down the middle and add some seam allowance. So, all right, so I'm going to assemble these pieces really quick, kind of quickly. And then I'm gonna practice sewing my center front collar here. Why is my attention so, it's because I'm sewing on this poplin. This poplin is, it's okay. Why? Yeah, it's really tight. There we go. We'll style it back. So, how are you guys today? How's your weekend going? So off to a good start? Also, if I keep the light off today, maybe it'll stay a little cooler in here. You guys, I woke up this morning. Hi, Barbara. 6th, 7th, and 8th Fairfield Street. Wow. Love it, love it. Ooh, I think you might, you might be surpassing the number I've sewn of those now. You're the pro now. Let's see. I really don't know how many I've sewn of those. Hi, Fiona, how's it going? But I think you and I are neck and neck now. So now I'm gonna consult you for any help. It's a good pattern. It's got some quirks to it as far as like laying it out and stuff. But it is pretty solid. Like obviously I've used it a lot. Hi Danny, how's it going? All right, so we got this, let's just go, well, let's do the shoulders here. So I've just cut the top portion of my garment out. I did a bit of the yoke and a bit of the top. we're just gonna sew it together here. What was that? Oh, look at that. This is my cream thread. I tied it off, didn't pull it through, and rethreaded the needle with it. It's really funny. Or maybe I didn't unthread the needle yet. That's not what the tension issue is about, though. All right, let's go over to the iron and press these pieces here. Oh, Shim, did you miss my whole undercollar thing that I was talking to you about? Because I had something I wanted to tell you about that. Hi, Blair. I'm so glad you're here, too. Hi, Sydney. Your Princessine bodice mods turned out better than expected this morning. So I'm like, ooh, that is a good start for your soder day. I can barely say that. See, but, you know, someone puts that in the chat, you know, Ray. And that word will get stuck in my head. It's a disease, I tell you what. All good. Sewing an SD from Tilly and the Buttons. Ooh, you got a new pattern. No, you shouldn't rewatch. I just didn't want to repeat it if you heard it. So, Shim, the other day you asked me about, you know, your undercollar, if you can just put it on the bias like the like coat making, and I just wanted to tell you two things about that. One of which is it's not unique to coat making. You'll see it a lot in shirt making. But the other thing is that if you do it on the bias, which you absolutely can do, just make sure you put a center back seam, because I said yes, you can do that, but my undercollar doesn't have a seam. I mean, technically, yeah, you could put an undercollar that doesn't have a center back seam on the bias, but my worry is that since this is going to be on the bias, you know, it's going to pull asymmetrically. In theory, I mean, technically it's on the bias like this, but you want this seam in the center back to stabilize it, because it might get a little too baggy and it won't do its job. So I just wanted to say that because we were covering so many different things the other day. Yeah. You don't have to apologize. There's nothing wrong with cutting them that way. Just make sure there's I think you should have a center back seam. Maybe your experience is different. Okay, here we go. Hi, Rachel. How's it going? Ooh, nice. You're finishing a jacket. Did I say hi to Libby? I saw a Libby here, didn't I? Let me get rid of this emoji thing. There we go. I have more chat. Yeah, it's kind of a split for me too. Jensen's versus Fairfield. The thing with the Fairfield, there's a lot of little things about that pattern you have to know and remember if you sew it, and it's that the seam allowances differ on every single seam, front to back, and that you have to cut those fronts wrong side up, which is really weird. And the shirt sleeve, the Tower Placket, it's got a couple quirks to it. It works, but it just you need to know those things. And so when I switch between the Jensen and the Fairfield, well, the Fairfield has the seam allowances I want, and I have to remember where they are. The Jensens are only 3/8 of an inch, so that's just not enough. Hi, Kathleen. How's it going? There is interfacing. This is a sample. I am troubleshooting something that my project is an eyelet. It's right here. This isn't my project today. So I'm going to just troubleshoot sewing this collar, because what I did, I'll show you what I'm trying to think about. I made a pullover style, right? I made a pullover style, and it has this popover placket, right? So it's going to have this little placket like this, right? Sorry, my fabric's kind of crazy. And the collar itself is going to land right here in the middle of the placket like that. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like I don't have a problem sewing the collar on in the back without a facing or the front without a facing. It's just this little section right here, this 1/2 inch. I don't know what to do with, because I haven't done one of these in a long time. If I had a facing, fine. I cut a piece of binding as a backup, so I'm just practicing because I practice too. Oh my goodness, Fiona, 4 inches on top and 5 inches on the trousers. Holy moly. Yeah, we think of Terry with the hammer, right? So, okay, so let me think about this here. I may need to like ignore you guys just for a little bit here. So I'm gonna sew this like this first, right? So if I sew this along the inside and I go, should I have the collar on? Yeah, I think I might have to do binding. All right, let's put the collar on so that it's there. This fabric is not a joy to sew. And the other thing is, if I were to sew this whole collar on, finishing the edge, I would do it from the inside out, but we're not gonna do that either. All right, so why am I getting confused here? Oh, because I'm trying to do it from the inside. Oh, I am so trained to do this inside out. Yeah, we're going to do this. Okay. So I didn't put a notch for my center front. So here's my center front. Oh yeah, so this goes actually out here. So a notch would have been helpful at the front there. You can see, look, this is going to go all the way to there. It doesn't go all the way to the end here though, does it? No, because it should go. So if I have this overlapped a 1/2 inch right here, right? This theoretically goes right, not theoretically, this goes right here. You don't want your collar going all the way to the end because then the collar would overlap, which wouldn't be good. Hi, Allison. How's it going? All right, I'm going to just focus on this for a second. Sorry. Okay, so that's like this. So if I sew this, what if I sewed this to this first? I don't want this to look hard, so just let me puzzle it out because I'm going to make it really easy to sew. So just bear with me. When I go to my eyelet one, that shirt's going to sew up really quickly, so we have plenty of time too. All right, so let's also give us a notch where the center front is on my placket. Ooh, there go the deer. Goodness, they're in a hurry. Okay, so now I have a couple of notches here. All right, so if that was sewn and pressed like this, and then we put our collar like this, and we folded this, wait, it goes right here, it goes right here. Then we folded this back on itself like this, with this folded like this. Okay, we did that, and then clipped into that. If I clipped into that, I could do it. And that would be like a one-shot thing. That's possible. I think it's fraught with some problems. So let's do one side like this and see. Hey Donna, how's it going? I'm troubleshooting just before I sew my original version here. So I'm gonna sew this placket on here. Oh my God, here we go. I don't know why I have these pins here because I was pretending to sew it. All right, so we're gonna put this from the inside, just like this. Okay. All right, I'm just going to do one side right now, so I have the other side still available. All right, now we're going to fold this at the fold line. We're also going to fold this edge like this. Okay, and I'm going to fold this at the fold line. I'm going to make sure this fold goes just past my seam. I'm going to put our collar here like this. All right. Oh, and then we need to lift this above like this. Okay. So far, this is fine. All right. I probably could have pinned it, you know. All right, so then when I get to that seam right there, I'm gonna clip the collar right like that. And I'm gonna pull the collar out of the way and keep sewing. All right, and so now the collar is going onto the neckline. Oh, except my shoulder line notch did not match anywhere near close to what it should have. So where's my center back? Why didn't I notch my center back? Let's see here. Okay, that is my center right there. Okay. Let's see if the center back matches. If it doesn't, then I may need to change my pattern. It almost does. Okay, so it could be correct. All right, we're gonna stop there. Tell me if I need to see something in chat, okay? I'm just gonna let you guys chat for a bit while I figure this out. Do I need to do this? I don't actually think I need to clip this, but I'm clipping it as a way to think while I'm doing something. I do that sometimes. Iron or do something while I puzzle something out. All right, so now we have this little, right, so we clipped it right here at that seam. So now if I fold this to the front like this, oh yeah, that won't work. Okay, good. Okay, okay. All right, all right, all right. That's right. Oh yeah, I've done this before. Let's see. Yeah, that's not the way. Okay. Sometimes when it's wrong, it's a good thing because you're like, got it. That's not right. It's not the collar that has to clip. See, it does need to do this. It's because I'm sewing this with the underside to the neckline. Okay. So I could do this if I did it the other way, theoretically. Let's take it off. My process. I'm doing the whole collar. Yes, Libby. Yeah, but you know what? My backup plan is that I have a piece of a little bias strip because I think that that's actually would be a really nice finish to the inside neck. And it would make this easier. But in some way, this is actually something I've been thinking about for probably a couple months because of other projects. And then now I just need to figure it out. And I was going to do it before I went live, but I forgot my daughter arrived home again. And they're doing construction on the way up here now. It's kind of crazy, the construction they're doing. So it takes me like 20 minutes to go 5 miles now. So I didn't really leave myself enough time to do this before, and then I was just going to show you on my project. But the project itself is going to go together really quickly because I'm going to use the overlocker today. I didn't feel like adding to the time of it. All right, so I'm going to try this my usual way. of how I go from the inside to the outside, which I'm kind of thrilled about. All right, so now we're gonna do this. We don't even have our other Placket on there, which I still wanna practice on too. Okay, so if this was, right, like this, right, like that. So what we need to do is go from the inside like this. But I don't think, oh yeah, that would work. Okay. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. I think, oh, this is interesting. Okay, we're gonna go, that's our center. So one thing we've learned so far is I need a notch for this collar. I'm also a little doubtful it's all gonna line up right now. Like as far as the collar to the neckline. It could be this poplin. This poplin is the epitome of unforgiving. It's so tight, I can't push a pin through it. Look at that. Why use pins? All right, so when I do that, oh gosh, I didn't even want that like that. Let's do this. Let's pretend like it's sewn. We pull this to the other side like that, right? That's gonna push our seam allowance down. So we wanna clip right there and push it up into the neck. Yeah, I think that can work because when the collar's worn, it's gonna do this. It's gonna cover that up. It's not ideal. I know a lot of people would not be comfortable sewing it like this, but let's just try it. So, all right. Well, I wasn't planning on doing that, Barbara, but my issue right now is the fact that I have this little placket and no facing. With a collar stand, the difference with that is that a collar stand goes all the way to the end of a placket. I'm sewing, look at, this is not the way you sew this. You need, this is so, when you don't have a free arm, you don't pickle yourself into a corner like that. All right, so I'm gonna sew here and think a little bit more, but I think I figured this out. The only thing I didn't figure out is there's my shoulder notch. Let's stretch it. I don't advise stretching it. Okay. All right, I'm not gonna backstitch that. Okay, so now here we are. This is what we got going on the inside. So we're gonna turn this to the right side. So there is our little placket, right? And then we have our seam allowance now. Oh, I didn't, okay. I forgot to stop sewing the top layer. Gosh darn it. Dang it. I was supposed to stop sewing it. I just sewed that from the wrong side. That's what it is. Okay, we'll just pull this out right here. So now right here, we would clip this. Rip. I'm gonna take out a little more. Like this. And we want to separate this down here. We want to separate it during the whole thing. We wanted to separate it right here. So let's just sew it on here kind of messily to see if I'm going to be able to push that into the neck. This is interesting because this is actually very similar to the technique I use to sew that camp collar so cleanly. So now we can, if we clip into all these layers, we can push them into the neckline, finish it over the edge, Make sure that when we sew this little facing here, we get this a little cleaner like that, right? And then now we can sew this. Let's pretend like we're gonna go do the whole thing, kit and caboodle. All right, we go up. So this is definitely right here something to think about with how these seam allowances get pressed. Can you stop that? The fabric is so slippery. Oh my God. And then now we're going to go up onto the collar like this, pivot, get all that inside, pull this down like this. And then we'd go all the way around to the other side like that. And then when it's buttoned, it would cover all that up. But I don't think that I know it looks really messy and this fabric is kind of crazy. But that would work. And then when your collar is buttoned, and this looks like the middle is more like right here. So I need to make sure this collar actually ends up there. I think that's doable. And look at how clean it looks on the inside. All right. I'm down for that. Maybe I should try it on the other side just to make sure I got the steps. I lost my face. Other one. Ugh. Okay. So, order of operations. This is what I used to do for a living. Sit here and figure things out and then figure out how to do it 100% every time, you know? So, I love this kind of stuff. If I could do this full time, this would be my dream job. Dream job. You're seeing it right now. You know? So, will the wrong side of the fabric show? You mean like this? Yeah, it can. Anytime you do a camp shirt with a button band, you have that risk. Yeah, Barbara, but the thing is a collar stand it encompasses all the way to the edge of a button band, right? It goes all the way to here. So that's why you can just do the whole thing and it's fine. And when you know, your button down shirt, when the collar is open, you see the backside of your shirt too. So, all right, so this right here, I didn't really finish sewing this. Let's see what's going on here. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna press that up like this. There we go, and then that's clean. I could probably shorten this by quite a bit. But I think I left like a lot of room for the house down at the bottom. Like that. So now that goes like this, and we'll poke this down that way when we do the other side. All right, so let's do the other side. All right, so same thing. Let's find our center. But less risk with it's nicer looking on the inside. I wouldn't say risk as far as ease of sewing, yes. A facing makes it easier. There's no risk for anything though, as far as like something bad. Yeah, well, because it's a button band. Remember, it's a popover, so there wouldn't normally be a facing there. You could do a facing though. You know, you could do a facing that goes like, how could you do that? Yeah, I guess you could do a facing if you left this edge right here loose. And then at the bottom, you have a whole nother problem if you put a facing on this, because down here at the bottom, the facing would be loose here and then somehow get tethered into the bottom. I've seen those. I'm not sure I want to spend my brain effort trying to wrap my head around that just in case I don't go forward with it. This is more like a polo without binding. All right, so let's see here. We've got our placket here, and we'll start all the way down here. We've got this one finished, which is kind of awkward. All right, where's my collar? All right, so what's the plan? I'm gonna go from the inside to the outside. Not worried about that yet. Here we go. Now we're worried about this. Inside. Line this up. Make sure you have your collar edge at the seam juncture. I really want to illustrate this. This is really important. So my seam juncture right here, here's my seam allowance. And here, right here, at that plus sign is the juncture of my center, right? So the end of the collar right here, so this collar also has the same seam allowance, right? So that little edge right where the white hits the end of the collar, that needs to line up with this point down here. And a lot of people, what they do is they line up the point right here at the top to their center, right? And then what happens is because of the curve of the collar, it pulls away the collar from that juncture, right? So what you want to do is put this little tip past the center point so you line up the edge of your collar all the way to actually where the center is with the seam is. Oh good, Libby, do you have any ideas? Yeah, all the camshirts have facings, but I did a popover. We did the little variation. All right, so then we're gonna line this up like that, right? And we're gonna pull this over like that. And my collar is way too high up, so we're gonna pull this down. We're gonna put a couple pins in it. That way my fat thumbs aren't doing all the work here. It's not a bulk thing either. I hate that. Let's see. I'm gonna pull this down. Like what I do sometimes is do this. I put the collar in line with the center. This ensures that you're gonna get it right there and it'll meet. And you won't have one that's like 1/8 of an inch away from your center and the other one lined up or something funny like that. So what happens when I pull it straight like this though is it really straightens out the collar in relation to the neckline. I keep seeing how high this is. Oh, I see what's going on. My placket is like 1/16 of an inch taller right now than my neckline. That's why, because I didn't sew it very accurately. So, all right, so here, we're gonna put that down here. It's so hard to push things through. All right, and then we're gonna fold this. Okay, fold this so that this goes right past the seam like that. Okay, and then right here, oh, and then the other thing we need to think about is these little seam allowance edges. They look perpendicular, but they definitely got pulled on that one and created an angle. Sewing over a pin. All right, and then right here at this fold, I'm gonna clip into this is the top collar, right? The top collar right along this edge. And I'm gonna pull it away. All right, like that. Bingo, okay. I didn't twist this, did I? I could have. Oh no, I didn't, okay. I was gonna say that'd be really funny just for a sample. All right, so now we have, okay, and now, let's see if I did it right this time. No pleat at the bottom of the placket. You could do that if you want though. Those are cute. Okay, so here we go, right? Let's do some ironing. Let's get a good result so we feel really confident about it. Let's get a good result so I feel confident about it. This one's much nicer as far as like how these little edges of the placket itself turned down seam allowance wise. They look more in line with the placket this time. Whereas the other ones, they were kind of winging out. All right, and so I would also iron this seam up into the collar like this. We are the boss. You are now living inside of a collar. We need to clip this. I didn't clip all the way through. I only clipped the top collar. Where you clip that's kind of key. That was a little bit shoddy there. And now, let's give it another little, welcome to your new home. Okay, and then now we can pin this like this and stitch around. All right, and then what's going on down here? I'm neglecting my placket. So I can do all that. I can start the sewing of the placket and then finish the sewing afterward. Yeah. Good to know. And this one's going to go underneath like that, like this. Bing, bing, bing. Yeah. We're so good. Oh man. If you guys only knew how terrible I am playing video games and how much I've gotten teased, right, by people. Sometimes really bad teasing, like super toxic harassment messages, stuff like that, right? Not for my friends, but my friend, I've had some friends that were actually pretty not nice. And do you know how many times I wish I could just say, but I'm really good at this one thing. And I would dance circles around you if you were doing it. But no, they don't know. They don't even know where their clothes are made or who made them. But the last thing I need is to say something like that and then Googling starting. You're a streamer? Kind of. Oh, goodness. All right, yeah, I didn't clip this very good. So let me show you one of the pitfalls so you can see. Sorry, it's a little dark. So I'm going to lift this up. Do you see this edge right here? This is the seam allowance of this placket and the collar being pushed down. So I didn't clip it in a really great place. So I think one thing I would probably do is clip this at an angle. Never thought about doing that before, but instead of clipping it straight along the seam, what if I clipped it at an angle like this? Why is that so gosh darn thick? Hi Eliza, how's it going? Sewing is a way better skill. I don't know, sometimes I don't feel like it, Rebecca, but I agree. Ultimately, I do agree. All right. One of my gaming buddies, he shows up in chat, and he was shopping for a suit for a wedding recently, and it was really fun. He shared the process with me. Okay. Here we are. Here we are sewing our placket, but we're not actually ready to sew the placket. So let's get the placket ready for sewing, because I feel pretty good about the placket. That's not the hard part. Do I like this at the top? That's the question. Do I like this? I think this is doable. Like, I actually think this isn't a unique finish, by the way. Like, this, stuff like this is sewn and ready to wear all the time. I've drafted patterns for this to be sewn in factories. I just couldn't remember how to sew it. Hi, Suzanne. How's it going? Yeah, you guys both arrived at the same time. I love it. All right, so we have this. We're going to press this seam towards the front like this. We could catch this in You know what I don't like? I don't like that this placket is the same width as this one. And I think it would be better if it was a little bit shorter so it doesn't butt up against this. So that's one thing I'm going to try and remember to do. We'll just do it right now. We're going to trim this placket right here. If I trim 1/8 of an inch off along the edge, that'll take a 1/16 of an inch off either side. And I think that that would be a good thing. I was going to trim the eyelet side, but I'm not going to because I don't think I can keep that as straight as I can on the smoother eyelet side. And I need to remember to do this to my pattern piece. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm gonna like tie this around a pin. If I do something kooky like this, 3 hours from now, I'll look at this and go, oh yeah, I need to do that. Like this, and then we're gonna pin this to something. We're gonna put it on the ironing board. There we go, okay. All right, that's solved. So now we've got a narrower placket on this side right here, which will make it so that it will not get bumped up on this side. Like this. And then it'll sit across. See, it'll cover this other side better. That's what we want. It's either that or we make this one wider, which isn't a bad idea either. Hey, Daishan. These are some fabrics that I was trying to work on, inspired by like these 40s designs. And what I didn't really like was how like muddy my dots got on the solid leaves. See how they kind of got lost? That's one thing I'm still working on doing a good job on, is getting like the crispness of my designs. See how these dots are bigger, and then these, I flipped it. These are small dots, and these are bigger dots. So, yeah. No, I'm making a shirt. I'm just practicing. I'm sorry if you're here to see me sew the whole camp shirt, but I'm just practicing a couple of trickier details that I drafted because I want to make sure I'm ready on my final thing. So this right here, so let's turn this over like this, and we're going to, oh, we can't right now. Let's see, if we stopped here, we could then turn this and then sew it right sides together. I'm about to start sewing my camp shirt though, so if you want to go do something and come back, I get it. Walter, how's it going? All right, so now we have a flat placket like this. We can lift this up like this and get in here. I think really I just want it on this underside one. I don't really need to reinvent the sewing of this, but I kind of am changing a few things. So then I have a nice clean inside right there. You know, it's kind of what you want on the inside, right? And we can just trim this guy down by quite a bit. So we'll put that with our pin, just in case we want to make this again. Well, hopefully when I sew my final one, it'll be a little bit more straightforward. So I'm wondering, okay, if I get rid of this little tiny bit right here, I know I'm just gonna probably horrify some of you, but I'm just gonna trim this off as if it's the amount I trimmed off on my shirt over there. I wanna know, is it really going to help me cover up, this is one of my pet peeves, is when I have trouble covering up this side of the placket. And I think that it's largely because when I'm doing this, I'm using a home sewing pattern, and what they do is they give you the exact same placket for both sides when this side should be smaller. And I don't know if they do that because they just don't know that it should be smaller, or they just want to keep it really simple for the home sewer. Hi, Beverly. How's it going? Ooh, that tropical shirt, man. I should have invested in that. Oh, I have a video coming out hopefully today on sewing the tropical shirt. And I got a really nice finish on the inside there. See that? I'm not talking about the facing edge. I did a Hong Kong finish on that. But right here, I got a really nice finish at the juncture. I'm really excited about this technique because I've never seen anyone do this before. So, yeah, me too. They're so faded on the other side. Yeah, how the wrong side looks at on the collar. Looks so faded on the other side. Oh, interesting. Do you mean like this? Like, because I have, right, this one's not, doesn't have a facing. All right. So I got rid of that little sliver. I'm sitting this down. I'm letting it relax. I'm not pulling it over. And I'm not convinced it's going to cover it really easily. I'll show you. I'm going to pin this shut so you can kind of see. It did help up top. So maybe it's just my sewing at the bottom. So see how right here, ugh. Let me pin it one more time up here so that it stays like that down there. And I hold it up. Yeah, that's wardrobe, Amy. Ugh. Okay, so see right here, I have this little bit still peeking out, right? And my suspicion is that's my error when I sewed it. Because when I just did this little end at the bottom clean finish, that on the inside, right here, it's nice and flat, right? It is nice and flat, like there's nothing happening here. It looks good. This is one thing you gotta say about poplin, is that it don't move. It's really nice, right? But right here, and I can trim a little bit of this because I didn't trim it straight, and that doesn't really solve the issue. And you know, when I go to stitch this down, yes, I can go like this, like I can pull it under like that, and it'll be fine. It's not gonna distort it. But yeah, I think this is overall a little bit long. Like, it's extending past my bottom of my placket by quite a bit. That's just a style detail. Okay, I feel good with where we're at here. A little nervous. Let's do it. Okay, let's sew my camp shirt. Woo woo. What's that? Oh, that's a dart. Okay. Right. All right, so now I'm gonna start sewing my camp shirt. And so if you drafted it with me the other day, you know the details, but technically it is a non-traditional camp shirt. I added a back yoke. I made it a pullover with a little popover placket. And those are my two things. And it has darts, because boobs. Yeah, the tropical shirt is by Wardrobe by me, Nora. It's a men's shirt. There is a women's version. It's a raglan. And then she also has one called the camp shirt. And it comes with shorts. I've heard good things about it. I have not made that one. I've only made the men's tropical. I cannot for the life of me tell the right side from the wrong side of this fabric at all. All right. So we're going to do our darts first. Always get your pieces whole again. There's that. I'm trying to discern my hole from the eyelet hole there. Oh man, that's the sewing fairy. When my needle thread's like that, I always feel like that's the sewing fairy telling me, hey doofus, you forgot something. And what is it? What did I forget? Ooh. What did I forget? I will be sewing the tropical shirt on the 22nd. Here it is right here, okay. And I have sewn it before, so if you're just eager and you would like to get going on it, just go to my website and search tropical and you'll find the links to the videos there. It's not a ploy to get you to my website. My website really just has links to videos on it. I'm downplaying it because I've spent a lot of time on my website, but I'm just saying, like, that's where I kind of keep a record of all the projects so that you can find all the links to one project in one spot, because it's so hard to find things on YouTube sometimes. Okay. I saw Jen Stern do a pretty tricksy little thing with her dart the other day, like the way she sews the end. I can't remember what it was though. Because the other way I do it sometimes is I go into the meat of the dart and I backstitch. I've seen funny little things, but you know, this just works. Oh, except when it doesn't work. There we go. Okay. All right. How is the eyelet on camera? That looks pretty good right now. How's the visibility? All right, Barbara, see you later. It is, Donna. It's a little startling. I think it was Libby that sent me a screenshot of the day she did that. I had no clue that that was going to happen, and it was a pop-up when you opened the wardrobe site, and she sent a screenshot. I was like, he's mine. All right, here's my collar. Where's my yoke? Here's my yoke. Let's do the back. Oh, I added gathers to my lower back as well. Here's the fabric I'll be doing in Michael's tropical shirt. He picked this out. He used to have a little VW bus like this. He doesn't know about the one he doesn't know about the one I made him yesterday. I didn't really ask him if he was going to like that fabric, but I think it looks cute. All right, so I put a notch where I want my gathers to sort of start and stop. This fabric is so wispy and light. I like it. Let's put a couple rows. Does he watch the stream? He does. I don't know, sometimes. He knows about that though, because I thought, because the thing is, like, I'm not complaining about it, but at the same time, I didn't know that that was going to happen, and I would have liked some warning, because my daughter's on there too, you know, and I was kind of like, okay, I know I was paid to make the video, but I wasn't paid for my photographs. Like, that wasn't part of the transaction. And so I felt a little weird about it. You know what I mean? And if I asked her, she would definitely take it down. Like, she's very, very nice and super respectful. But I asked them both and they were fine with it. Where did you find the bus fabric? Oh, the bus fabric. It's on Hearts Fabric. And there's a discount code. I will try not to keep touching my foot pedal. There you go. There's the code. You can buy anything you want on there practically with that code. 10%. It's not much, but it's going to save your shipping. All right, and just before I get all the people telling me how to do burrito method, I don't do burrito method. I have nothing against it. I just figured out how to do yokes before that existed, and I have my own little way that we call the taco method. Because, you know, Mexican food's, you know, perfect in every way. All right, so let's distribute the gathers. Let's line up the center right here. I'm just going to put a little pin there so I don't lose track of that. I've not sewn with eyelet, but maybe, gosh, maybe 3 times in my life. I love it too. I don't know why I haven't sewn with it more. Oh, let's change my stitch length back down. Let's get these gathers nice and perpendicular. So I set up my yoke seams just the same as anyone by sewing the bottom. I don't actually know how to do the burrito method, but I think that that's what you do first, right? You do your lower yoke. I've actually had people comment on my video, the burrito method is better. Like I'm trying to take away someone's livelihood or something. All right. My gathers are a little bit low right there, so let's just take out the gathering stitch because I followed my seam allowance, and that's what's important. Did I pull it from this side of the fabric? Let me see. Where's my tails? I cannot tell which side I pulled it from, and so now I'm worried I just locked it up. That actually slid, so maybe we're fine. Okay. We're just going to pull out the gathering stitch here, if I can find it. It didn't look like that I sewed that seam very crooked, but apparently I did. Or the gathering stitches. This is annoying. Yeah, it's a really simple lace, but I'm happy with it. I've seen other laces, or I mean, eyelets, and I'm like, dang, eyelet can get so cool. The who's the Love to Sew gal who's getting married? Carolyn, right? She's getting married, and she picked out this fabric for her dress. That is, I've not stopped thinking about it. It's so beautiful, and it's kind of an eyelet kind of vibe, but much nicer. I just love how folky eyelet can be too. All right, so we got that gathering stitch out of there. All right, so let's iron this so that we can do the top. I like find a thread and I'm like, okay, is that the end of a stitching of eyelet? Because they were all in the selvage, so just making sure it's not the case. Yeah, right, Malin, it is beautiful. I think she did good. Like she was trying to imitate a dress that she was inspired by. I think she did really good finding a fabric for it. I didn't cut the eyelet very straight as far as the seam goes. And I'm also thinking that I don't think a top stitch would have been 100% necessary on this. All right, so now we're going to, this is my taco method. I take the garment and I put it right sides together, and then I just take it and I flip it around. And I put the third layer right side together. It's kind of hard to tell on this eyelet what's right side, what's wrong side. But I basically just do this in one step. So if you want to try it, get your edge started. So put the needle down and then arrange it. And I arrange it from the bottom layer up. 1 shoulder, 2 shoulder, 3 shoulder. And then we just sew it. And give it a little tug, and it's done. Boop. And we'll do the other one. You know what I forgot, you guys? I just got so lucky. Remember one of my shoulders has the missing eyelet? I just got lucky that I actually did it correctly. All right, so here again, my back is right side up, my front is right side down. So these are the outer pieces, right? The shoulders. So I put those together. Am I gonna sew it from this end? I'm gonna sew it from this end. So we're gonna start from here, and then you just gotta keep it straight. See all these little threads from the eyelet? Turn it right sides together and sew. I actually don't legit know what is involved with the burrito method. I know there's something with rolling. So I have a feeling it's probably just as easy and straightforward and gives you the same result. But when I first started sewing, neither of these methods existed. And they would have you turn under the edge of the yoke and sew from the right side and try and catch it in there. And it's like, I was so bad at that. I hadn't even thought of the idea of sewing from the wrong side to the right side yet with collars. But this definitely inspired it. All right, so let me iron my darts as well. I have not been liking my dart results lately. I don't know if it's just a phase or I'm being really hypercritical. Maybe my bust has changed and that's why, you know, actually that's kind of a likely idea. My bust has kind of changed, so darts are looking different and I'm not having the results that I like, you know? I feel like I'm learning to sew darts again. You think so? Why would it be easier? All right. We are to our collar and placket. All right, so here's my collar. I didn't do a fusible interfacing. I just did a piece of fabric, so I know it'll look a little different. This is my under collar. This is my top collar. And I know that because I put a double notch on my under collar. So we're going to sew this together. When I got up this morning, I thought it was Sunday. I don't know why. All day yesterday felt like it was Saturday, and I kept telling myself, it's not Saturday, it's Friday. And every Sunday, my husband and I, we work in the yard. We always do like big projects like removing brush and getting poison ivy, you know, things that couples love to bond over. And I was like, okay, I said, so what's on the agenda today? Meaning, you know, oh wait, oh no, this is the edge with the notches. Okay, good. Meaning like, you know, what kind of big project do you have in mind this weekend to tackle? Like last weekend we removed all these dead branches. We've had 2 trees fall. And PG&E also came and removed 2 huge trees and they just leave the wood like it's a blessing or something. You know, they're removing the trees to mitigate any kind of fire potential, but then they leave dead trees on your property you have to deal with. I'm like, okay, wait. So we've been kind of like doing that. We did a burn pile and everything. I'm looking for the seam so I don't cut it off. I'm gonna do it from this side. And so we did that, right? And so today he's like, well, I'm gonna mow the backyard and everything. And then he was like, so are you streaming today? And I was almost be like, what are you talking about? It's Sunday. And then it hit me. I'm like, I'm streaming today. I'm sitting in bed like it's Sunday, staring at my phone and listening to the news. Man. Yeah, maybe that's it, Libby. Yeah, right, Shem? I'm just gave up trying to figure out if this is right and wrong side. I get hung up on that chair over there. My leg gets caught on the vinyl. All right. I'm not gonna top stitch my collar. This is my under collar facing up. What was too big when I was sewing that sample? Was the collar too big or the neckline? Wait, it was that the notch of the collar was much further past the shoulder, right? So that means the collar was potentially bigger. I don't think it is. But maybe that's just my arrogance. I'm like, I measured that thing. But I just want to be on the lookout if that's potentially a problem coming up. I'm about to put a second awl over here so I can turn my corners. This is the outer collar. Why does it look shorter? The eyelet isn't easy to get to lay flat. We're just gonna go with this right here, this look. Okay. That's awesome, Shim. I saw you and Rachel saying that you missed the quick fit yesterday. There is a way, I don't know how it works, because for me, I automatically see every single event, you know, because I'm automatically going to every single one of them. But you can sync your calendar if you use the calendar that syncs with Mighty Networks. And then it just shows up. I don't know if that works for you, but as long as usually the same right side and wrong side, yeah. It is, because when you think, unless it's been printed, but yeah, when you think about the yarn, right? If you take a piece of yarn and you weave it, it doesn't have a right or wrong side. And sometimes if there's like a pattern woven into fabric, there's obviously a right and wrong side. So, okay. Here we have our collar. I don't like that this is like a little short right here, and this is my top collar. And I think this is because of the thickness of the stitching of the eyelet is making it pull, like I'm losing a little bit of my height in order to pull it under. If I pull this to the edge, what will happen is my seam is closer to the edge. It's possible to do that. I think I'm gonna leave it like this though and just trim off this excess. If I don't trim it off, what can happen is when I go to do that last step where I'm clean finishing the edge, I could inadvertently pull it too far or not far enough, and I'll get one side will be slack. This is the worst way to trim this ever. Okay. Ooh, the eyelet. It's like nice and easy, and then it's like cutting through a stick. Okay. So my center notch, my shoulder notches. All right, let's do this. Okay, we have our two plackets here. This feels so delicate. And we're gonna sew the two plackets first to the neckline. So this is the right side. Why wouldn't I understitch? You could. I never understitch on here. My collars do. I gotta sneeze. I'm sorry. Yeah, I could understitch. There's no reason not to. I guess I don't find that it's going to help any more than what's already happening here, because I can see that the fabric, you see that the seam right here is pulling the under collar to here. If these edges are lined up here, this can't creep out anymore. If these were the same size as one another, the outer collar and the top collar and the under collar were the same size as one another, understitching would help. But in this case, understitching would just be kind of gilding the lily. So, oh, really, Libby? Ooh, I only put a 14 in. I didn't even think about that. Delicate armor is a good term for it because look at, like this, I use the selvage, right, for the interfacing, and you can see through it. It is wispy. I mean, calling this interfacing is kind of a joke. Okay. One thing I'm not going to do is stitch the raw edges together right now. All right, so this one's going to go here. And we're going to flip this. Why am I having trouble getting oriented? Here we go. Put this wrong side to right side. So we need that center notch too, remember? So let's find that center. Let's just do it with the ruler. So it's right now, oh gosh, I'm just gonna fold it. So we have this one right here, and then I'm folding it to the seam line there very inaccurately. And then do the same here. You definitely need notches the next time I do this. Let's get that eyelet lined up. Just something. Okay. She is that is Dr. Pudgy Professor to you, Shem. That is Dr. Pudgy Professor. Dr. Eliza. All right. How's the visuals? Do you want me to zoom in? Should we zoom in a little bit? Yeah, it does feel like I'm going through some pretty chunky stuff. All right, so this time I'm gonna go one more stitch. Yeah, one more stitch. So I'm stitching this. I'm just going to explain a little bit. Maybe none of you care. I stitched this placket 1/4 of an inch past the bottom here. I have 1/4 inch seams on everything. This placket has 1/4 inch seams, right? So here we go. It's loose. Don't ever go to the bottom because you need it to flip to that right side. And we're going to clip that in a little bit. And then we're going to do the same thing on this one. So that was the left front, and now we're doing the right front. And it's the shorter side is getting sewn to the inside. So we're looking at the shirt. This is the right side of the shirt, the outside of the shirt. It better be. It's not. It's not. Panic. Wait, wait, wait. How did we flip that? Oh my gosh. I, sometimes wish that there was a spray that you could spray on fabric that would color it. Like, I know it would be terrifying to do, but what if you could just spray one side of your fabric pink? And so you would know, oh, the pink side's the wrong side, right? That's the invention we need. We want to sew this to the wrong side first. We finish it on the right side. I know a lot of instructions have you do it the other way, but that is too risky. That's what I call risky. Dr. Professor. Dr. Eliza. I kind of like that. Can we call you Dr. Eliza Doolittle. Sometimes when I'm explaining things, I catch my own errors, so that was kind of key. I'm glad I was trying to show you how to do something incorrectly so that I fixed it. Okay, we're gonna put this wrong side up. See, here's my dart flapping around there, right? And if we want to keep them straight, this is right side up now. This one goes here, so it goes like this, right side to wrong side. Hey Ray, how's it going? Time disappearing, yeah, maybe, yeah. Or just, really just like, oh, this is flipped over too. Sheesh. Or just wash away, you know. I would take that too. Harper, Harper. All right. I don't want to talk about it. I know Terry would appreciate this. I flipped the, it's really incredible how silly I can be, isn't it? I was kind of beating myself up about the drafting stream the other day, and for me, it really encapsulated the difference between a recorded and edited video and a live stream. And, you know, that's what it's all about. There we go. Okay. Let's make sure we got this right. There we go. Wrong, right side to wrong side. Okay. I always try and get this, you know how I'm like, got this little cutout, the placket. I try and get it into its position as I sew it. So I'm not distorting anything, and I'm seeing what's happening there. When you're juggling a lot, sometimes it's hard. The cue when I asked the doc is, how did your knee turn out, right? I think she said it was going pretty good. Okay. The crows have been back here at the complex. I can hear them out there. They were so mad at me walking down the stairs the other day. All right. That's what we got right now. This is the wrong side of the garment, right? So I'm gonna press this as we, you know, noodle on things and get prepared and get our confidence up. Okay. Oh my goodness, Eliza. All right, so let's get our collar out. We're confident. I'm a little confused where I'm at here. So we're gonna sew this to the wrong side, right? Yep. And actually, let's turn under this long edge of the placket on either side as well. Only because that'll help me when I'm doing the collar. I don't usually do that pre-sewing the placket. Did I put on the iron cam? I did. And the reason I don't is because I like to leave my options open. I know a lot of instructions will say to pre-iron these kinds of things, but like I said, sometimes you need a little bit more, you need a little bit less, and it can kind of hinder getting it back once you've pressed it once, you know, like if you're doing a linen, it gets that crease in it, and you're just like, I cannot get this thing to just move a skosh over, you know. Turning it up along the eyelet edge. Oh, because remember I trimmed off. Oh, but I did trim the lining too, or the interfacing. Okay, there we go. I did a kind of a healthy 1/4 inch there because I want that narrower under placket. All right, collar. Wrong side, that's this, okay, yep. Okay, so we're gonna go to the center here. Just having trouble with that seam showing. So I'm pulling it to the underside a little bit more. So here's this notch and there's that notch, right? Okay, so we want this here and we're gonna line it straight up and down. This is gonna be a lot easier to pin too. I don't use pins much, can you tell? I'm a little awkward about it. We're gonna fold this over, right sides together, and we want this edge to go just past this seam right here. Just a little bit. Just like that. I don't think so, Eliza. I didn't change the... Wait, what? Did I not change the ironing cam when I did that? I thought I did. I thought I checked and it was. Okay. So... maybe we should pin a little bit more than that. You know? That's a lot of shirt. Ugh. Okay, here we go. All right, let's get our center back. Oh, we need our label situation sorted out. So we're gonna put the center back and we're only doing the under collar. Is this right, you guys? This is the wrong side. No, it's not. It's not right. Wait. I'm sorry. I'm just having trouble keeping track of things because of the way the because I can't see the right side and wrong side. Yeah, so that's the under collar. Yeah, I have the collar flipped over. All right. Jeez. Yeah, because we want this to be like this. Flip. There we go, like that. So under collar is facing up right now. The top collar is to the inside of the shirt. Line that up there. I hope my whole method I just developed works. All right, and now we're gonna go around and pin the collar to the neckline. This is the center back. We're gonna put a label in. I think I want my little sewing machine. Or maybe I just want my tools. I'm gonna do my sewing machine. Because this is the inside neck. And then our shoulder right here. Do I have any blue tape? That's a good idea, right? Just put some tape on there. The right side. God, it's aggravating. It's got to be aggravating to watch. Okay, line that up along. Okay. All right, we're almost to sewing. Moments of truths. And then I have one other shoulder I didn't pin. I didn't put a stay stitch in the neckline. Could have helped as well. Let's see, how are we looking as far as things matching up? Okay, that's no problem. We got this. Okay. All right, this is it. All right, so to reiterate, we're looking at the inside of my shirt. This is the under collar facing up. We have the right side of the collar, the top collar, facing the under collar of the underside of the shirt, the inside of the shirt. We have our collar lined up to the center, not the fold, the center. Placket is folded on itself. All right, and so we sew this, right, and then I clip right here, right? Okay, so let's get my neckline. I'm gonna pull the camera down. I'm not gonna waste time on the zoom. I'm gonna pull the camera down here. Having the light off has really been great for this eyelet. Okay, so I'm gonna pull, this is my neck of my shirt, and I'm just kind of pulling it down to match like this. And then right here at this fold of the button band here, I'm gonna clip through all layers. I'm gonna clip through the collar layers for now. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna do. And then I'm gonna pull away this collar, just like this. This is the under collar, so yeah, we want that to stay there. All right, just like that. Now we're just sewing the top collar and the interfacing to the neckline, all the way around till we get to the center front. Oh my goodness, really, Eliza? Ooh. Wow. The one thing I have learned, because we've hired lots of tree people at multiple houses, is it's the one thing you have to get like the like ideal company. Because there's a lot of amateur tree people, and it is such dangerous work. We've seen so many like close calls and certain things where we're like, okay, this tree, it's just dead. We just want it gone. We won't really hire an arborist. It's like out in the field, whatever. Bad decision. They're like stopping mid-job and going to buy things, and you're like, okay, we won't do that again. We'll just go to our usual tree people, which are always booked way out and cost a lot more, you know? But we're thrilled with what they do. All right, so here we are. We're approaching the front again, right? We have a lot going on. And I'm gonna clip this collar. What was I thinking before? Clip it at an angle, huh? Clip at an angle. That's not the angle I want. All right, and now I'm gonna keep sewing. I had no problem matching my collar to the neckline, so that poplin must have just been really unforgiving. Okay. So now we can clip this corner here at the fold of the placket on both sides. It feels weird. So like some of it's thick, some of it's not thick because of the eyelet. And now we're going to turn it to the right side. Still nervous. Oh yeah, okay. So I only clipped the collar right there, and so we learned that clip that at an angle. I think that's great that I only did the collar because then I could kind of see what I want. So here we are. We're on the right side of the garment right now. Here's my top collar, right? This better be my top collar. Wait, I don't think it is, you guys. Did I really flip the collar? Okay, whatever. I'm not sure. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so right here at this clip here, I'm going to clip it from the inside to that spot. I think that's the smartest thing I've done in a really long time, is clip this right here at an angle, because all of this right here is going to go into the collar. And we're going to turn this under and top stitch all of it down. So that's our next step. So let's go to the iron. Yeah, we just started it, Susan, kind of. I do think I flipped my collar though. Something I have not done in a while. All right, so we're going to give this a good pressing with the seam allowance into the neck. We didn't clip this side yet, right? We kind of did clip this side. We just clipped the other side. I need none of these scissors over here will work. Not on the eyelet. So at an angle to that clip, like that. Press the seam up into the collar. Be really firm about that, by the way. And we're looking at this from the right side. Oh, I caught my shirt right there. I have another seam ripper. Let me grab it. Oh, jeez. Okay. I caught my little bit of my neck right here. Is that the stitch? So we'll just take out a couple of stitches and we'll fix this before we stitch it down. The eyelet fabric is very soft and then these are very thick. So you gotta be careful because what'll probably happen is sometimes the fabric will just get pushed up against these little embroidered pieces, which are kind of stiff. There we go. No problem. The stitches come all the way down to here though, so it was good we caught that. All right. And now we're going to turn the collar under. I don't like how thick all this is right here. Look at all that. I'm just going to grade it a little bit. You don't want to trim this all the way down. The problem with trimming this really short is that it's almost like if you cut your hair, the shorter it is, the less compliant it's going to be, right, when you want to push it a certain direction. And it's kind of the same with seam allowance. You got to kind of leave it long enough so you can actually tell it what you want it to do. All right, so at these, oh, I did do my collar right. been a ride, you guys. We're gonna do this over at the machine. Boop. Yeah, the safety for stuff like that, it's, yeah. All right, I just re-sewed that little spot that we saw didn't get caught, or got caught. All right, so now we're gonna pin the collar over the edge here. So we have the shirt right side up, and I start at the center back. And the first thing I'm gonna do, and this may seem kind of like extra. I know I'm drawing out this process, but it's just, you know, I really want a nice finish. I'm gonna pin a parallel line of the fabric of the collar here. And what this does is it prevents me from over pulling the edge right here. I do this on cuffs a lot. I just learned that, like, okay, this gives me something to pull against. Because if I pull from like right here, right, and I'm turning this under, and say I have like very little fabric, right, and I'm trying to pull it under, and I pull too much, what I can do is pull the collar too far, and then it gets a little bit distorted. So when I put the pins here, what this says is, okay, everything from here to here has to stay that way. It just gives me like a nice little guide. And so now I have this really solid edge here, and I can push the seam allowance up, and I start at the center back, and we're gonna turn it under. So I start at center back, and then I'm gonna go to the shoulder. I always do the spots that have notches because they're non-negotiable. So now I know I just need to be able to fit this in here, no problem, right? Let's do this shoulder over here. A lot of threads though here, okay. There's that shoulder notch. Kind of deep. And when we stitch this, even though we're on the right side, it's gonna get hidden on the underside of the collar. Collar's gonna turn down over it, so. Okay, so now here at the front, we're gonna press this up there, turn this under, and you know, you might get a little bit of a messy thing right there, right? So we're just gonna be really careful, but remember also that the collar is gonna turn down even over that little bit right there. I'm bending pins left and right here. I love these little green Bohin? B-O-H-I-N? I don't know how you pronounce it. I like those. Those are my favorites right now. So I have a little bit of slack here. Yay. Let's try and turn it under and get rid of some of it. Maybe that's why I caught the neckline there. Let's see if I can kind of smooth it out here, evening it. This is why I would never pre-iron this edge, because you may need to turn under more in some places than others. Especially on a fabric like this that kind of has some irregularity to the thickness. All right, and then with my awl, I'm gonna just take this and poke it in here like that. Be really firm, and I'm gonna pull this over like that. It's gonna be all good. All right, let's just pin this last one over here. Poke it up in there. You can kind of see what I do there. I kind of lift this up over, push that in there, be really firm about it, keep it pushed up there, then pull your collar over. Sewing is like, it's like 85% fabric handling. you know? It's just like finessing it. And just getting good at finessing different kinds of fabrics and different little fiddly spots, you know? All right. Look at all these pins we got. Aren't you proud of me? All right, and so on this side here, same thing. My placket's folded a little shy of the edge there, and we're just gonna yoink it over with the awl. It's gonna be fine, okay? All right, so now let's talk about the placket here, and what I wanna do next is clip at the bottom here. Probably should have clipped it when I did the other side, but I just didn't want it to get any stress. So see how we sew this? Let me flip it over and show you. Nice and clear. So here is the placket here, right? And we're just gonna clip to this stitch line here. And one thing I find with these is it is really helpful if your stitch line lines up, as long as it's within a stitch of itself. So just clip to it right above the seam there. I think it's probably more accurate to do it from this side as well, because you can see the stitching. Well, I can't actually, because of this eyelet. Oh, there it is down there. Okay, well, that's a bummer. Let's cut it a little deeper right there. This fabric is so thin. Okay, now, here we are, and we're gonna pull our placket. This is the right side up now. Pull your placket to the right side. It should wanna do that now that you just clipped it, see? And we're gonna line up this under placket and cover the seam line there. We'll put a few pins in. We're gonna sew this whole thing all the way around in one go. Pick up a pin, throw away a pin. That's all I've been doing. Look at this one's bent too. We'll let it slide this time. And then on this side too, so pin the placket over the seam line there. This is why we like doing it on the right side, so we can see exactly what we're stitching. Make sure you don't have any slack along this edge, like this edge isn't longer than the one it's going down to. All right, and then down here, when we stitch this closed, we're just gonna stitch it closed to where we sewed it first, right? So we're not gonna stitch this whole thing, and we've already determined that this is a little bit long, right? Because we need to hide all of this under this one here. And on this one here, like if I were feeling kind of, you know, sassy and confident enough, I would, and actually we could try and do that. Let's actually sew, okay, I'm just gonna trim off, I don't know, an inch off this other side here, something like that, like 3/4 of an inch. I'm just gonna trim that off again. All right, so I'm gonna sew the bottom of this placket to the bottom of the shirt there, like I did on the other one. I feel like I do this from the other side usually. I'm doing this in a kind of a strange order. Yeah, we're gonna do it from this side. So do you see how I have this? This is the center of the bottom of the placket. You see this little flange right here? So we're gonna fold the placket down. Let me show you kind of more methodically. Here we go. This is the right side of the garment. We're gonna put this one out of the way. In the shorter placket right here, we're just gonna fold this whole shirt under like this, right? No, that's not how I wanna do that. How did I just do that? What I really like is folding this down on top of the shirt. Like that, yeah. Yeah, that's how I did it. Is that how I did it? Yeah, that is how I did it. Why does this feel funny now? I just had it a second ago. Let's see. right? Why does this feel funny now? I'm doing this kind of in a reverse order. Is that what it is? What's the easy way to do this? The easy way to do this? I mean, I could just sew across right now like this. Maybe if I pin it. So the trick, the thing to worry about with this is, remember when I just said, like, put the seam when you sew those sides, the sides of your button placket, and then you want to get those stitches to kind of line up across from one another. The reason that's kind of important is it's a nice little guide for where you clip it, right? And then you can get a nice straight seam going across the bottom here. So we'll just sew across there. And we're gonna go like, you know, right where we clipped it across. You don't have to go all the way up to the edge. Just give yourself a good portion of it, because what this is going to do is now keep that edge nice and clean on the inside right there. So you can see it. See, it's nice and clean there. We don't have to worry about it now. All right, and now, yeah, I had it all lined up, and then I wanted to show, like, get you guys oriented, and then I got kind of lost. Okay, and so I think I will try and just do this whole thing. I'm going to do the placket, the decorative part here, all the way around the neckline, all in one go, because I'm going to try hard like that. All right, so we're going to get this over here. Am I going to do that? Can I do that? If I have to start, no, I can't do that. Okay, cool. We're off the hook for that. We're just gonna enclose our button placket on both sides and go all the way around the collar. After up it lining. That whole preposition rule sometimes ruins my life. Do I want my shirt like this, or do I want to pull one side over? I think I can do it like this, right? All right, we're just going to go straight up from the bottom of our placket. Make sure that it's covering up the first seam we sewed. Having it all is really handy, so I kind of pull this out and I pull the band over that seam. It's actually lining up really nicely right now, so the pins aren't really needed. Now here we are at that collar juncture again, right? And so, and hopefully I don't get poked, so I don't want to bleed on this shirt. So we want to make sure all these little threads are in there, and I can't kind of see, but we're going to poke that in there too. Pull the band over it, and make sure our collar, we're going to go one stitch onto the collar, and then we're going to adjust, because I feel like the collar could be a little lower. So let's pull the needle out, and we're going to pull that collar down like that. I'm going to back stitch right there just because I kind of lifted the needle up. All right, now we're just going to go around the perimeter of the collar. And you guys thought sewing a cam collar was hard. You're like, I'm sticking to the camp collar way. None of this popover stuff. I could probably design you guys a simpler popover. I don't think this is hard, since considering we just figured out how to sew the whole thing. This is also a really good example of how a pattern drafter can draft something they're not quite sure how to sew. I would have plenty of interactions with the sample maker and say, okay, this is what I want. I want to make this thing, but I'm not sure what the pattern pieces need to look like. This is what I think they look like. And then they'd go, oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. And they're like, I don't know what the pattern pieces look like, but I know how to make it work and sew it together. And so they would sometimes sew me something, get it really, really close to exactly how I want, and I would have pattern pieces, and then we kind of compare. Sample makers are so smart. They're just got their own kind of brilliance. Okay. So when I get these little bubbles of color, you see how I have this little bubble here? I'm going to use my awl. I'm going to lift up my presser foot a lot, and I'm going to just kind of poke my awl against it, do a couple stitches, and readjust, and it'll get rid of it. I do not take that pin out and let it, you know, blump over here, because then it's just going to compound if I had some slack on this side of the pin. You want to get rid of it where it needs to be getting rid of. In dire cases, yeah, you can kind of let some of it go to your neck section. But what if your neck section has a problem, which is kind of often the case, right? All right, this is a little bit curvy here, so let's straighten that out. All right, and we're approaching another front. This one will be a little easier because we get to start on the collar and go down onto the button placket. And this is also the more visible side since I'm buttoning mine right over left. So let's pull the placket down, and I'm gonna make sure that is poked in there. Now, if you wanted to do this in 2 passes, I would stop here, backstitch, and then start now, then going down this way. You could do it in 2 sections, not like I'm doing it here with all in one. Get closer there. Okay. Let's reorient my shirt here so it's not pulling weird. And we don't want any torquing on the placket, so we're going to make the awl help us push it against the needle so you don't get any of this placket dropping toward you. You know what I mean by that? Like when the placket kind of shifts towards you while you're sewing. And that's because the feed dogs are pulling the underlayers this way, but the pressure of this presser foot is pushing those top layers, sliding them along the top. So I use the awl and I really push against the fabric. The awl is really great because of the rounded edge too. I've never had a problem with the needle and the awl. If the needle has hit the awl, I haven't actually known about it. I think I would, but it also would just glance off of it because it's rounded. All right, so we're down here at the bottom, and how far do we want to go down? We're just going to go down to our notch, or like where we sewed it on there. Wait, what happened here? We went too far. We're going to take out a few stitches. I really shouldn't have started doing a little tutorial about an awl right there. That's the problem. Better yet, if we can't get the spray to put on our fabric to know which is the right and which is the wrong side, what about a thread that under a black light you could see it and it wouldn't show up, the shirt wouldn't show up. So right now I could put a black light on this and I would be able to see my stitches. I'm just full of inventions, you guys. Full of inventions that you don't probably really need. There we go. Let's pull out those stitches right there. Okay. Let's see how we did. All right, let's pull the camera a little bit. Hi, Amy, how's it going? Yeah. We're actually not too far because I practiced sewing this collar. That looks really good. I'm pretty happy with that. It looks nice on the inside. This is the inside view. I'm trying to get the focus there. This is the outside view. So when it's buttoned, you know, or unbuttoned, those are the things that will potentially look like. This is this side. I feel so clever. All right, let's get rid of all these pins here and finish our placket and our shirt. My shirt, you can't have it. Not ours. Back off of my shirt. Oh, this is gonna be cute. I think the eyelet is kind of goofy and cute, and I love it. It's a little soft. I'm feeling like maybe I will stitch along this edge here. Maybe I could stitch along this edge right now too. Let's see if we like that look, since this is the under placket. Let's see if we like it. Look at these little flowers lining right up on my placket. I didn't plan that. No, Ray, I will notice. When people like borrow clothes and stuff like that is not something I've ever done. I don't know why. I didn't think I was weird about my clothes, but I think I would kind of be if I were in like a roommate situation, like, oh, I borrowed your shirt. I'd be like, what? You did what? Like my daughter started doing that when she was, became a teenager, and I was like, you can do that, but we got to talk about it. She did yesterday, and I didn't care at all because she wanted to go on a job interview, and she didn't plan on going on one while she was visiting. Okay, placket time. All right, so I like the stitched edge there, so that's something we'll probably do on this side. So let's make sure our placket lines up here at the top. So my collar is overlapping a tiny bit, so it looks like I got this edge here a little too far over, like 1/8 of an inch over would have been better. We're gonna let it slide though, right? We can't really just pull this over to line up, because then see how it falls shy of covering the under placket there. So something to think about. And you're not cool with that. With your mother, yeah, I guess that's a little different, right? Like my daughter and I. My daughter is like so much smaller than me, and so I was like really interested to see what she was gonna find. And she did find something that looked really cute. And the thing is, she's a little taller than me, so our frames are about the same size. All right, I'm going to close this so that I don't shift this, because now we're going to finish this at the bottom. All right. And we really are just going to iron this under and top stitch it all down. And then plus I want to go up this side. So I think what I'm going to do first is stitch along this placket edge. I'm just going to stitch along this placket edge. Let's make sure this corner is popped out right here, because it does not look like it. There, that looks a little better. Should I put my back stitch here and then go over? I think I'm going to. I'm a weirdo about back stitches, yes, I know. They're pretty invisible in this fabric though. So I'm just edge stitching my placket, optional. Making sure it's going to cover that edge over there. And I'm just going to go off the edge like that, because we're going to turn this under. So now let's go over to the iron. Back off, Shim. I doubt I will. I kind of wish I would have made this placket shorter, because I thought about this after I'd cut it out. I think I would have liked it shorter so that I didn't have to do buttons and buttonholes at all, because I think it actually it would just look cute without that. And this side, I got these nice row of flowers. On this side, I didn't. It's flatter, which is fine, because if I do buttons and buttonholes, this will be easier to deal with. But wouldn't it have been cute if these little flowers had been on this side, you know? All right, so let's line up that neckline and make sure everything down here is looking good. Let's give this a nice press down here since it looks a little schlumpy. Just mash it all down. Okay, we'll pull this over. This is a thread. Okay, so do we want this long when it ends way up here? Or do we want it a little shorter? Because we could just cut off. I think I'm just going to cut off like 1/4 of an inch. Put that in my pile. All right, so now let's fuss. What we could do is fuss with it like this. So I'm gonna when you do these tower plackets, like on a shirt sleeve, you'll notice that they sometimes make them square. I'm trying to get my point straight across right now. And that is another way to do this, and you still get a point because you fold, 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 you know. There we go. All right. I really drew this out, and I'm not going to apologize for it, but I did get a really nice finish, so I'm really happy with that. I did the Ellsworth by Merchant & Mills just on my own like a couple months ago, and I didn't get quite a nice finish down at the bottom as I had before, and so it kind of threw me off, and that's what made me a little cautious today. And it's because in my head it's so differently than it does, and I went into it with different steps. All right, let's pin this closed up here. It seems a little longer on this side, but if I pull it down, I get a little bit of a pleat down there. So we're going to try and split the difference. I'm trying to look at the center too. I'm like, okay, am I getting it nice and wiggly? I need something to pin against. Here we go. All right. Oh man, let's do something other than this collar, eh? Oh my God, Terry, are you serious? Taco truck. Yeah, that's a priority for sure. My gosh, it like pulls up in front of your house like an ice cream truck? Are you kidding? That's so Californian. I love it. People have no boundaries. So true. All right, we need to continue our top stitching over here, and I should have noted right here is where I need to sync up with this top stitching on that other side. So maybe if I would have pin that down like that. All right, now we're going to carry on with our top stitching right here. Make sure this little folded corner doesn't peek out. All right, and then see my little button band on the under one trying to peek out. So that's a loose edge, so we can just kind of pull it over and pull this placket over to cover it up. It's another reason why you don't really want to stitch all that down, so that you have some options. And now right at this pin, we're going to turn 90 degrees, and we're going to enclose all of that. And now if you want the house effect, you know, like you want like a X, or you want any other stitching, now is your time to do this. So I usually come down and just go straight across again like this. And there we go. Oh, I forgot about the other placket there. Well, that's a bummer. I'm like, look at how nice. Let's take this out. When I went to continue my top stitching, I caught the other button band in there. See, at least you're learning all the things to think about when you do yours, right? I knew better on that. There, see? Just a few stitches. Take that out. Get rid of the extra on this side. We'll restitch it. Thankfully, it's pretty unnoticeable on this fabric. Trying to get all of it because there was a back stitch there. All right. Let's pull the band out of the way this time. Now everything is secure. All right. Get rid of all this thread. You tap it and all. Guys, look at all your little emojis. It's fun to see on my side. I should show you a little video of it because I just see them fly up when I'm looking at chat. They don't make a noise. All right. Kind of thinking a edge stitch on the collar could have been nice. I could always probably add it. But what do we think of this popover placket? I think it's turning out cute. Should we sew the shirt together now? All right, we have our sleeves. And we aren't doing any French seams. I don't even know how to sew this together without using a French seam. You know, like, wait, right sides together? What's that? I have my serger all set up. It's very rare. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? I'm doing this like it's a flat felled seam. Oh man. I've been doing French seams too much. We just need a proper serging. Okay. All right, so let's put this, we're gonna do our sleeve and our underarm. So this is a front sleeve or a back sleeve, it doesn't matter. Where's my other one? We have one notch there and, okay, so just make sure we get a left and a right. All right, we're gonna do our side seams and then overlock. It's so lightweight, so it might be a really nice weight for summer, which I'm hoping for. All right, so, oh, I actually want to overlock these edges first, sorry. And that's because we have a vent. So the easiest way to do a vent is by pressing the seam, side seam open. So, okay. Let's see, can I show you my, without moving the camera? Here is the overlock. Whoa, sorry. My phone just, that's my fire alert noise. Now you know. Okay, this is the right side. Okay, we're just gonna sew this right side up. We're just gonna overlock the side seams and then the underarm seam of the shirt. Oh, that is too tight. Oh my goodness. Shoot, I didn't test this. Oh man. Oh my gosh, this is way too tight. Sheesh. Went from pretty terrible to decent. Whew. Okay. I told myself to test that yesterday after I threaded it. So here's a notch right here. I wasn't paying attention on the other side. So what I'm going to do is, because there's a notch right here and I'm overlocking and I still want to know where that's at, you could put a pin over here or something, but I'm going to pull the notch apart as I go over it, like that. So that it's a little easier to find when I go to sew the seam. Why is this so ruffly as well? Huh. There we go. I just lengthened it a little and put it on the to stretch the seam out as you go. Next Friday, surge your confidence in the guild for the skill building session. Why are you doing that? Let me give you confidence by struggling with mine. Yeah, you know what? I think something's threaded wrong. That's what's going on here. Because it's doing that. It's like pulling up one of the, yeah, I think it's you. You're the problem. You are the problem. So let's just rethread you really quick. I had to think about that for a second. All right. Let's see if that's better. I would really like a piece of fabric to play with. You need a table for your surgery covers. You're wondering what yours is on. This is a typewriter table. That's one thing that is, oh, there we go. That fixed everything. Oh my goodness. So one thing about like when sergers came out, computers were also kind of coming out, like becoming more readily available for home use. Same with the serger. And all the typewriter tables in the world were kind of like becoming obsolete. So I would always snap one up for my sewing machine or my serger. And that's what this was Maggie's. So the other thing you can do is get, if you have the money, you can get a table. And the one I have, it's at home actually. It's for my home machine. And it has a little shelf inside. You can set the machine on it and it can kind of go down below the level of the cabinet so you can close it all away. Or you can lower it so that the bed of the machine is flush with the table surface. And then you get a plastic insert to kind of fill in all the hole around your machine, making it level. So that's another option. That's a Sew Steady table, by the way. That's the name of it. Oh man, I just worked out my whole tension on my whole shirt. It's annoying. But up until January, mine was on the table over there and I stood at it, remember? But when I rearranged everything, I wanted to bring in a table, and this one, you know, came into our lives because Maggie passed away. It's still doing a little bit of ruffling. I think that's just the weight of this fabric, and I didn't calibrate it for it. All right, let's do the underarm seams of the sleeve, and then we'll sew the all together. You know what? It's the eyelet. It will bunch up at the embroidery and then be fine. So, eyelet sewers beware. Oh my goodness. Where's my other sleeve? In the garbage. Perfect. Right where I wanted it. Sometimes the garbage is handy. All right, let's get back to the machine I love. Okay, don't throw up. That actually worked pretty good. I didn't have to show you my machine close up for this, so. Oh, they are? I thought they were in Oregon. That's interesting. You've no luck in social. Yeah. So the other thing you can do, Amy, is get an adjustable height table. And if you have an IKEA, those are pretty readily available there. And then you can even sometimes change it. Maybe you want it to be standing height or something else, you know, in your life. All right, so we're just going to sew the side seam together with the full seam allowance. And we're going to stop at the notch for that vent that we put on the pattern on the side seam. Yeah, I don't know what those Sew Steady, I don't know if Sew Steady makes the whole table or if they just make the insert or both. I had an insert for mine and then it broke. It gets shattered after a long time of using it. And someone was like, at the fabric store was like, oh, hey, you know, we can order one of those for you. And I was like, what? You can? You don't have to, like, no? And they're like, no. Just tell us your machine. And I did, and apparently it's just like a standard thing. Like, everybody cuts the same size hole in those tables, see how it sounds like, so they know they're going to be compatible. And it was. It's like a 1/16 of an inch off, but for the most part, it's really great. That could have been the whole of my table that was off, right? So I got a new one, and it's nicer. It's a lot nicer than my old one was. My old one felt like it was brittle, and this one's perfectly clear. It had a texture to it, the old one, so. You know, every time I've been interviewed, Suzanne, and someone says, what's your favorite tool? It's been a while since I've been interviewed and someone's asked me that, but every time before I got that a lot, I would always say my standing height table. Anytime you can get off of the floor, as I reach down to pick up my eyelet sleeve off of the floor for the 4th time, it's so much, it just adds to everything about your sewing, you know, adds to the enjoyment. It makes things faster. You don't hurt your body. So it's not a lug stitch, that'll be fine. We're going to press the seam open for that vent. We're going to line up our, I pushed my seam allowance automatically towards the front of with the sleeve, and I don't need to do that today because we're pressing the seam allowance open on the bottom. All right, let's put my sleeve in here. Let's get everything kind of situated. Pull the sleeve further in here. Find the notch. That is not the notch. was funny. I can't find that notch. Well, shoot, where'd my notch go? Oh, well. I thought I saw it, too. Okay, let's check it out. Trying not to pull anything. There it is. There's the notch. Perfect. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see how much ease I have here because I just felt like me stretch that little lower part. So now I need to kind of compensate. So I'm kind of sliding the sleeve a little bit toward the needle to get rid of some of this excess. There we go. That's better. Didn't help that the shirt was folding up. Nice, Jim. Do you sew it from the outside or do you do the kind that's like bound? I bet you do. It's interesting getting to know all of you guys and your sewing styles because I can kind of guess what kinds of techniques you guys gravitate towards. Why is there so much ease here? Maybe I do need an easing stitch. Look at all this. Maybe I forgot how much ease I have in there. Yeah, it's going well. We're pretty much just, I'm overlocking today, so it's a pretty fast sew for the rest of this. Okay. Oh, well, good job then catching it. That's awesome. I figured maybe you were doing like that, like an overlocked inner waistband or bound, you know? So I got it wrong. You guys are so busy in that live chat thing that I will open it and it will say 99 sometimes. I kind of love it because I love that you're all just like got a little, and it's like, it's not even 99 messages over an hour. No, it's like all day. So it's not like it's fast, but it's so funny that I'm like, don't see that there's notifications there. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh goodness, I'm missing out. I love how candid that feed is too. All right, this will go better now. Where's that shoulder notch? There it is. Okay, right there. If you I want a better tutorial on putting in a set-in sleeve, I have a dedicated video to that. It's actually one of my most watched videos, and a French seam one that won't be hard to find because YouTube, for some reason, loves to suggest it, and I am not complaining. It makes me like $7 to $15 a month. That's the kind of bank I'm pulling in here, people. All right, this is way easier now. Look at that. No pins necessary. Like that. Oh, sorry. That's probably the resolution of the fire. I can kind of tell. What's that? Oh, you'd love the bound waistband. Who makes the Euphoria? Oh yeah, I think that is Baby Lock. You saw one at a estate sale? Yeah, that does sound like, I bet if you Google like the used price of those, you can kind of get an idea. I don't know where that's at in their lineup. like level-wise. Should have pressed this seam open first, huh? So yeah, next Friday in the skill building session is the Surge Your Confidence. That's probably one of the most popular things we ever did last year. When we did it during like Me Made May or something. Do you guys want that to be a Zoom or do you want it to stay a live stream? Is this really the notch? That seems so far back. That's a steal of a deal, Shim says. Oh. You already have a surgery you like. Oh. Do you have any friends that sew? $2,000 for a new, it's a cover stitch. Dang. They only have one dedicated cover stitch machine? Oh, that kind of makes sense, to be honest. It's $2,000? Holy moly. You guys can buy a brand new industrial serger or cover stitch for that. Not that you want an industrial, but probably for less than that, to be honest. You could buy a used one for a third of that. Oh shoot, I just pulled out too much, didn't I? Where's the gathering stitch? Is it this side? Yeah. Okay. What is going on here? I'm just going to let that go right there. There we go. I'm not sure I redrafted my center notch when I slid my cap over, and I kind of remember putting that in the back of my head that I would need to figure it out, and I just was done for the day at that point. Yeah, right, Terry? I know, home machines are just so expensive. It's so much. Okay. All right, let me overlock this. Meow. I'll slide my overlocker a little bit over so you can see better, like that. When I do overlocking things, usually I set a camera up over it, but we know this camera likes to come unplugged sometimes, or like disconnects. Get all these threads, and I'm gonna dial back the length. This is a really awkward angle to sit. I'm like going like this. Probably doesn't look like it on the screen. There it is. What happened here? The heck? We need to, my seam allowance folded over on itself right here. Like this. I want this to look a lot cleaner than that. Let me just tack it with my machine really quick. Yeah, I totally agree, Sydney. That's why I didn't spend that much on mine. I mean, my old baby lock was really expensive, but I was using it, you know, professionally. Oh, there's a little tuck right there. You get a little tuck in your seam, scratch it out before you rip it out. It might just go away. Because sometimes the little tuck is between where the needle goes in the fabric, and you can just kind of distribute it and it'll go away. I'm holding my little ruffled edge down so that it doesn't get pushed to one side. You know, 'cause sometimes, you know, you'll have an edge and it'll be so ruffled it'll fold down like this, and you'll only catch part of it, and you'll have this little loop there. Leave a tail. I think that they just have different styles, the machines, so it's understandable, Eliza. I liked the baby lock for how it ended the seams as opposed to my current machines. But I like these machines quite a bit. All right. Look at that. I still got it caught. Yeah. Come on. Come on, man. All right. Let's iron this side seam. Open. Now usually what I do is offset one side seam to the other so that I can press on each one without pressing the other one the wrong way. I'll probably fix that. It annoys me. We can press this open now. There's a lot of ways to do these vents. I gave a very, very basic, simple, ready-to-wear style vent. We'll make it a little nicer when we do our hems. But, you know, sometimes you'll see the vent seam allowance will get wider right here just at the vent. So that's one way to do it. And then you stitch a little wider seam, and maybe you have maybe the seam allowance goes out to here. You come up and you do like a little angle. There's a lot of ways to do these. The Reynolds dress by Helen's Closet has a very large vent on the side seam, and it's very nicely finished. It's got a beautiful mitered corner. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to do it. It's one of my favorite things about that dress. It was kind of a nice surprise, you know. All right, now I'm going to turn this way. I gave myself a 1-inch hem allowance. I'm going to iron it up so that I keep it nice and even. I'm going to iron it up, but I'm not going to measure it. We're going to double check it. We can kind of clean finish the bottom end of the vent there, and we can stitch this whole thing in one fell swoop, which will give a nice continuous line, and we'll be able to turn the corner down here, which will look kind of snazzy, you know. So we're going to check our vent openings right now. Sorry, my phone's charging. That's why I haven't gone over to turn it off. I can't reach it. Wait, oh. Okay, there we go. That does match, great. Make sure it does now before you sew it. There's only one bid for $50, even though there's a minimum bid. Interesting. All right, so we're gonna fold this up and stitch it across the seam here. So I'm just folding it straight up along the fold that we just created. And we're just gonna sew along the seam of the, or the folded part of that, of the vent here, right? So then now we have this, oh, that's not what I want. Ah, wait, that's not what I want. I didn't overlock this edge, so I gotta do it a little differently. God, it's so hard to see on this eyelet, you guys. Okay. I want this to be like more like this, right? Do I need to overlock that edge? I don't want to overlock that edge. I want to turn it under. Is that what I want? Yeah, maybe I'll just turn it under. Yeah, I'll just do that. I wanted it to be turned under anyway, but I don't know what my problem is right now. All right, we're just gonna turn down the hem a little bit, like 1/4 of an inch, and then do that exact same seam that I sewed along the vent. So like that. And then now that's clean finished there. And so when I turn this under here, like this, we can go all the way around the perimeter. We can stay here, here, pivot right there, and we'll just get a nice little stitch like that. Okay. Let me clip that little thread there. All right, so let's go around and do that to the 4. So we're going to fold this up, right sides together along our hemline, and we're going to turn down our hem just a little bit. Well, I'm going to. If you've overlocked this edge, you don't have to. So, hi Nathmi, how's it going? Kind of finishing up the top today. Or I'm finishing up the top I sewed today. You can also get rid of all this bulk here. I would definitely get rid of this right here. And then I would cut away like that. And then that way it's less bulk in there. Like that. Okay, let's do our other 2. I'll show you that little trimming thing again. Right sides together, turn it up, turn it down, turn it up, turn it down. I feel like when I'm sewing on the holes of the eyelet, I'm actually not sewing anything. All right, so trim that off on the hem and a little bit down here at the corner. You don't want to trim this away because you need something to grab onto when you stitch, right? You want that to be a nice edge going down into your hem. One more, and then we're gonna just re-iron it a little bit. Get our corners all poked out, right? Oh, here it is. And then down. Turn up, then down. I really didn't give myself much hem allowance for this. That's why I'm a little bit like, you know. corner there. All right, let me turn all these with my awl. I think the one thing about this top that maybe I would consider doing different is this kind of vent hem style. I can see why Friday Pattern Company on their really cute Donny shirt did the high-low so that you don't have this little vent. It kind of, I don't know, it kind of has a more vintage hemline look to it. For lack of a better description. Okay, there we go. I don't usually turn under my whole hem, but I'm gonna do a little bit right at here where I start and stuff. So I can make sure I get a nice right angle here leading up to that vent so it looks nice. And maybe I'll turn up my sleeve hem really quick and then we'll just do both and we're done. What kind of buttons would you guys put on this? I'm totally prone to doing something silly like putting emerald green buttons or red buttons on it, you know, and then making it very, like, less useful. Oh, I was gonna do the sleeves, that's okay. We'll just do the hem. All right, so I'm just gonna start maybe a little bit away from the edge there, right here, and we're gonna go all the way around. It's a very small hem. I don't usually give myself such narrow hem allowances. I'm not sure why I did that. I may have been thinking, I don't know what I was thinking. I don't think I would have thought of a rolled hem. Oh, mother of pearl. Yeah, right, Ray, exactly. Yeah, see, I think turning it in equal parts is a nicer hem. Personally, I think that's a nicer hem because it's also less prone to wrinkling. All right, so up here at the top of your vent right here, you could do something kind of cute where you know, go up and then maybe do a little point. You can even do a little like triangle. I would definitely reinforce this little slit here. So let's do a little point like our placket is. All right, we'll go kind of winging it a little bit. I want to go down to here, I think. Should have marked where I'm gonna go. And then we'll go straight across. Where's my stitching? My stitching is right here, okay? I'm gonna go down a little bit and back across. That way I have a double stitch there. I'm looking for where to turn the corner. Whoops, I did one extra stitch that I shouldn't have done. There we go. I'll show you in just a second what that looks like once I have a little space. So we did a little triangle. Oh my gosh, can you even see that? See, there's a little triangle with a rectangle underneath it going across. Ladybug buttons. Oh my God, that'd be cute. I love that. I'm holding my hem kind of taut while I do this. Who needs pins if you can just pull the heck out of it, right? You can't do that on a curve, but on a straight hem it works. Maybe I should have overlocked this edge. I think I would have liked a wider hem. You know, it's my first time making this shirt. So, you know, like if I were a pattern company, I would be making all these notes for that and for my next one. All right, so let's do the same thing. I went kind of above. We went to the center, down, across to the other, so complete my triangle, which is right here, I think. Yeah. Oops, that was a little wonky. And then come down a couple stitches and go back across so I can keep sewing my hem. And I made a rectangle. And now we'll go all the way down. And we're going to meet up. Did I run out of bobbin? I think I'm about to run out of bobbin. Oh, I made it. Okay, let's check our bobbin. So we still have our little triangle. That can't even see, so who cares? Night, Mullen. Have a great weekend. No, we're nowhere near running out. Okay. Bees. All right, we just have the sleeves. And then let's try it on the form. So I'm just gonna do a quick hem on the sleeves here. We pushed it this way, all right. This one I will do just half and half, like that. So I don't have to iron it. Less pressing, hopefully. So I'm just folding it half inch, half inch. One more sleeve. Maybe I can get away with no buttons and buttonholes and I can go for that look without them. I think I would be really cute. Right, exactly. Matching thread doesn't show your mistakes, and yes, I reinforced that vent, which is still sure to rip somehow. I feel like no matter what, it will eventually. I don't know why vents rip, because it's not like they catch on anything. It's a vent, you know? It's like literally designed to open. But I think it's laundry and just maybe sitting down stretches it out sometimes. You don't realize it. All right, moment of truth. Let's put it on Trixie. Sleeves could use a little pressing. Everything could use a little pressing. I think that's the thing about eyelet, is that it looks a little like poofy sometimes. Well, it looks pretty cute. My little foot pedal got in the wrong place. It's weird. What is happening here? Oh, there we go. I think I got it. Did I get it? Yeah, there we go. Phew. It doesn't look matronly, does it? Summery. Look at the little gathered back. Little vent. Do you think it looks a little old-fashioned? Oh well, I like it. I like the way the back falls. Yeah, right? It may look okay without the button. Not matronly? Okay, good. Thank you. I like where this yoke line is right off the shoulder blades there. Ooh, I can't wait to try this on. I tried to wear an outfit where I could just slip it on, but I just couldn't find something. Maybe a button and, oh yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Maybe just like one button right here. I really wish these little flowers, which you probably can't see, were on the top placket. They're so perfectly lined up. Look at this. Let's see if I can bring her up close. Do you see on this placket here? Maybe you can't see, but their flowers are perfectly in line there. So cute. Yours fold over big chunk. The secret with gathers, make sure you do 2 parallel rows. Don't skimp on that second row. I used to always do that, and I started having that problem too. And the other thing is when I attach it to the seam, I pull like this to get them all perpendicular. And I check my gathers in the seam allowance too to do the same thing so that the presser foot's not pushing them over. There's a good chance you have too much fullness in that spot, and then that will happen. You'll get that kind of thing happening. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's such a pain. Thanks, Dee. Not anymore, right, Barbara? Cool. Look at it up here. It looks almost like a, I don't know, it looks more formal. And then you see the bottom, the little cropped thing. It's got the bust shaping. I'm a little bigger than my dress form, so I think it'll fit nicer. I love how this came out here. I do like, you know, I don't mind seeing the inside of the shirt. If it were a printed fabric and that was the wrong side, I don't think that would bug me too much. If it really did, I guess you could button it up a little higher, you know, put your break right here. But yay! Yeah, I'm excited. It's like I'm so glad I thought to do the eyelet and that it came out pretty good for my first prototype, right? That's what this is. So, all right, so on the 21st and 22nd, I'll be cutting and sewing the tropical shirt by Wardrobe by Me. You're welcome to join. If you're not in my guild, which is free to join, it's a free community, we're having a summer camp sew along, and you're welcome to join. All abilities and sizes and people are welcome there. All these people are amazing. They're so kind, no drama. It's not an overwhelming social media space. You can ask questions, get help, post pictures, whatever. There's a lot of places to explore. There are paid spaces, but the whole main area where everybody interacts is free. There's not any areas that are private, like where people are socializing. So, yeah, thanks, Terry. Terry put a link in the chat. So yeah, it's free to join. Please do. We've had a lot of people join the last couple days. I don't know why, but welcome. I love it. We're almost to 900 people, but don't think 900 people are there every day. They're not. I should show you the stats someday. It's like about 50 to 100 people there a day, which is great. And they've told us that our network is one of the most active. It's in like the top percentage. So I'm proud of that. And you guys. So it is a very cozy space. Yeah. Oh, welcome, Dee. Yeah. I'm so glad. I'm glad to hear that. I used to live stream every week, but I've cut back now that we have the guild because I do a lot of things in there. Yesterday we did a quick fit session, and then on Friday we're doing skill building sessions. Yeah, don't be a stranger. And they're always available for replay because I know they're sometimes at awkward times for people from all over the world. So, all right, well, thanks for coming, guys. Have a great weekend. Maybe I'll see you for the tropical shirt or in the guild. Yeah, have fun. And watch for, I have a tutorial coming out. I'm hoping I'm going to edit it here and today. And it'll be uploaded today, I hope. Fingers crossed. Oh, I'm so glad, Sue. I loved it. I felt like that was a really long time coming. I wanted that whole chart and everything. So, yeah. Yeah, so watch for that camp shirt sewing along video. It's just the collar area. It makes it a lot easier, a lot cleaner. I showed at the beginning of this video what the collar looks like, so you can look for that. And then you don't have to wait for me to sew your camp shirt. And if you want to sew a camp shirt and you don't want to wait for me, I have sewn the tropical shirt. Just go to my website, sewsew.live, and put in the search bar tropical, and it'll pop right up. And I've sewn... Have I sewn another camp collar? Ooh, I don't think I have. Can't remember. Anyway. All right, you guys. Where's my thingy? There it is. Okay, bye.